Right, so this is Lee or Gears from Coolsmartphone. I'm just basically going to update a video I filmed about a year or two ago now, which surrounded VPN or virtual private networking. Now, here I am connected to my normal home Wi-Fi, which is called Internet's 5 GHz here. Now I can see if I go on to whatismyip.com, you can see that's my IP address externally. That's the IP address that anybody on the internet can see me coming from. So if I'm doing anything a little bit naughty, like perhaps using an Android TV box to stream movies that I maybe shouldn't be, or I'm using BitTorrent to download things I maybe shouldn't be downloading and sharing, they can see which IP address is doing that. And they can see that IP address belongs to me. I'm a Virgin Media customer. Virgin Media can then just go, hey, I know who that is. It's Lee. And we know where he lives. And we know that he's connected to us. And we can pass that information on to whichever agency needs it. And then you get into a lot of trouble. So a VPN is designed to secure your data down, to protect you, and also it will mitigate against the traffic management that a lot of ISPs use. A lot of internet providers will manage traffic. So if you've got a BitTorrent running, if you're streaming loads of things, it's going to impact the bandwidth available for all of their customers. So they're going to maybe reduce the bandwidth that's allowed to you for your BitTorrenting slightly in order to give some breathing space for the other customers that are using it for perfectly legal services. It's just what everybody does. Now, if I am trying to go to www.thepiratebay.org and I press enter, I'm blocked by Virgin Media. Why? Because it says, hey, Virgin Media has received an order from the High Court requiring us to prevent access to this site. By the way, shouldn't really mention this, but internet providers do block it, but if you try and go to the HTTPS version of the website, the secure version of the Pirate Bay, Pirate Bay, I should have prepped this really, you go, piratebay.org, then it will probably, let's just have a look, come on, I should really prep this. Look, it works because they're not blocking the HTTPS version of the website. Oh, I'm lying. Okay, maybe that's wrong. Right, so ignore that. Basically, if you're trying to get to a naughty website like that, it will get blocked and you'll get a message like that saying, hey, Virgin Media or Sky or EE or whoever you use, or Vodafone or O2 or 3, they will block it because they've been told by the High Court to block it and they block it. End of story. You can't get to that website anymore. Obviously, there's a few proxy servers you can use to get to the Pirate Bay. If you still want to go to the Pirate Bay, there's various other means that you can do without a VPN. However, what I'm going to show you is what happens when I'm on a VPN. So I have another router. Now, this other router is pumping out a Wi-Fi hotspot called Internet's VPN. Really, I took a long time thinking of that name. This is a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi internet connection. Doesn't really matter. I'll come back to that in a moment. But if we go to, I've connected to that now, and I'm going to go to what is my IP address. I'm going to press refresh, F5, and oh dear, my IP address has suddenly changed. Now I'm on a 172.94.3.11 IP address. My ISP is Secure Internet, and I'm in London. You can change this, by the way. I'm using Pure VPN. And you can either use an app. So if I go onto my phone, I've got an app here. I can go to Pure VPN and I can connect to all of these countries. One of these countries I can use, Morocco, Hong Kong, Hungary, Kenya. You can basically make it look like you're in one of these countries. In this case, I'm just making it look like I'm in London. I'm nowhere near London. But to everybody out on the internet, I'm now in London. And my internet traffic is encrypted over the VPN. So it means that this here, when I go back to the Pirate Bay and press enter, it loads perfectly fine. And when I press refresh, because last time I pressed refresh and it didn't work, but it does actually work. And I can browse torrents and do various things. So it allows you more unrestricted access to the internet, and it's very easy for me to set up. I just switch my Wi-Fi hotspot and there we go. Now, another point of reference, I just wanted to mention this while I'm in this video. Bear with me momentarily. Now that laptop is on the VPN. This phone here is on the normal Virgin Internet, the normal ISP that I use here at home in the UK. And it's what I connect to most of the time. If I do a speed test, it's going to go to a Virgin Media server, because that will remove any possibility of it going out onto the internet and slightly slowing down the speed test. I'm getting in about 200 megabits per second. It varies wildly because Virgin does have quite a wild variance on their speeds. This can go up to 350 megabits per second. Now, this is a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi hotspot. What I need to mention, because I get a lot of emails from people saying my Wi-Fi is not that fast. Now, this is because it's a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi internet connection. 5 gigahertz is a little bit like FM radio. It doesn't travel quite as far through your house, but the throughput and the sound quality, let's call it, for FM is better. You know, you get stereo sound on FM. But it doesn't travel quite as far through the atmosphere. Same with 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. You get much faster speed through it. However, it doesn't travel through your house very far. It will be impacted by walls, etc. If I connect to my 2.4 gigahertz normal internet connection now, which is just called the Internets, and I do that same speed test yet again, I'm going to get a much slower speed, and it's not going to go above, I can bet you £1 million, it's not going to go above 50 megabits per second. You can see here it's hovering around 20, 25, it might get 30 at best today. It's a Saturday afternoon, lots of people are using the internet because it's snowing and it's dark. Now, that is why, if you're on a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you're not going to get rapid, hugely rapid speeds, but because you've got that greater capacity, then more people can connect and you can download at 30 megabits per second, let's say, on 2.4 gigahertz. And it will travel further, because 2.4 gigahertz is a little bit like, to use my analogy earlier, it's a bit like medium wave radio. It will travel further, but it's not quite as good, not quite as fast. It's mono, medium wave. But anyway, so yeah, that's just to show you. Now, if I connect to my VPN, and this is a problem that a lot of VPN providers will have, not just pure VPN, but a lot of them, because a lot of people are using VPN now for streaming, the throughput isn't always that great. So if I do a speed test again, now I'm on my VPN Wi-Fi internet connection. I'm still using the Virgin Media test for some obscure reason. My throughput isn't that great. 6, 7 in the evenings on a Saturday. I can tell you this sometimes goes to 2. It's not that fast, not that fast at all. And this is because a lot of people now use VPN for streaming movies through their Android TV box. Now, as I mentioned before, you can either use an app which sits on your phone, you can use that out and about when you're on your 4G, or you can connect it to a router, and I'll show you how to do that. Right, so I am now connected to my DD-WRT router. Now basically a DD-WRT is a firmware that goes onto a lot of routers. You go onto eBay and you will have a look for, just basically type in DD-WRT and you will find lots of routers that range from, say, £15 this one here, £22 this one here, and it will have this DD-WRT firmware on there. Ignore all the acronyms. I know it's a bit scary, I'm mentioning VPNs and DD-WRT. Basically, it's firmware that is friendly and sort of custom made and basically geared to people who want to set up a VPN on a router and not have to faff around with software and apps on their phone or on their laptop. So that's what I did. I went out on eBay, I bought a Netgear router, which you'll see in a moment, and it's got the DD-WRT software on it, the firmware. Now, in there, and you can see here, this is the gateway, this is the control panel of the DD-WRT VPN router. I know I'm losing you. Basically, this is how you set up the VPN router which you're going to have on your internal network, hanging off your internet provided router. Now you can see here my IP address on the VPN is a 192.168.1.1 IP address. Now that is purely the internal IP address on my VPN router. Externally, and you can see here, it's got a 192.168.0.15 address. I know you're confused, but it will all become clear. The 192.168.0 subnet is the local network of my internet provided router, my Virgin router. So basically, the Virgin router is a gateway for the VPN router that I've bought. And you can see here I've set up my, ignore the word gateway here, I've set up the PPTP server here is fastest UK server. So basically in pure VPN they'll give you all these details. They'll give you, once you've paid them, and believe me, it is quite cheap if you pay in advance for a certain amount of years, you get a username and a password, and you can then connect to a VPN server somewhere in this beautiful world we called Earth. I basically said connect to the fastest UK server you can. So that's fastest-ukserver.ptoserver.com. You can basically go to Pure VPN. If I just type in Pure VPN fastest server, oh good grief, if that focused that would be brilliant. You can go to their support page here and it lists, see, this is where I basically got that from. So you can have the fastest American server, fastest-US server, Australian, UK, or these other ones down here. So it will automatically connect to whatever is the most available, the fastest VPN server in one of those regions, Australia, America, or Eld Blighty here in the UK. Now, I'm connected to the fastest UK server here. That is connected, and that is also beaming out a wireless hotspot, which I'm clicking on, called Internets-VPN, and that is what my phone's connected to. And that is why when I go to my IP address, I'm getting through the VPN Wi-Fi hotspot and going into the Pure VPN network and going to one of their servers, in this case in London. Then I'm popping out with my traffic encrypted, so I can browse to the Pirate Bay. I can, if I wanted to, I can do streaming. If I wanted to, I could do the BitTorrent, etc. Now I'll show you how this is all set up in my lounge. Okay, so bear with me, and apologies in advance for the state of my cabling. This is the back of my television. So this is my Virgin Media router. It's a Hytron router. It's what you get if you're a Virgin Media business customer, which is what I am. You get up to 350 megabits per second. You get no phone line, and that is because I don't want one. I basically routed my phone line over a SIP connection, which is why you've got this VoIP box dangling down here. More about that in another video I will do shortly. But here you can see flashing lights. The orange ones are the 1 gigabit. Well, crikey, gigahertz. The 1 gigabit connections here, the two top ones. That green one there that's flashing, now that is a 100 megabits per second connection. Ignore all my sort of acronyms and sort of words and geekery here, but basically that green flashing light indicates it's connected to this box here. Now this is my Netgear VPN router that I bought off eBay for really not that much money at all. This is the one that you've just seen me messing around on the control panel. It's a Netgear router and it's got that DD-WRT firmware on it. And here is the other end of that blue cable, which I've put a bit of tape around so I know it's the one that is connected to the Virgin router. So basically the feed from that Virgin router, so I've got one going to my Skybox, let's say, one going to a PlayStation here. This one comes out, goes into the Netgear box. So the Netgear has a gateway out. So if it wants to go out onto the internet, it goes bam, out through there, out through the Virgin router, out onto the internet. So that is why this here pumps out 192.168 1 dot something 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 on the VPN network. This pumps out 192.168.0 dot something 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 on my normal LAN network. And if I have, let's say, an Android TV box, which might or might not be on the other end of this other blue cable, I could just plug it in there, like so, and I would then get a green light on the front to indicate it's connected to said Android TV box. Then I could use said Android TV box to possibly stream movies without being noticed. Now, big thing about this is, because I've set it up through here, the Pure VPN terms and conditions say that I can only set 5 concurrent Pure VPN accounts up. So I can only have, let's say, 5 Android phones connected to that Pure VPN Android app at once. However, if you're using a router like this, I can have loads of devices hanging off this on Wi-Fi, and it's still classed as one Pure VPN connection. Now, I hope some or all of that has made sense, but basically this is how I've got my VPN set up. So I've got a router using DD-WRT firmware, get it off eBay, dirt cheap, put your Pure VPN username and password in. That is really easy. All the details are on the Pure VPN support site, really easy. You can use another VPN provider if you wish, as long as they support the DD-WRT firmware. Fine. Then you just basically have an uplink, which is this, that goes to your router, whether it be a flashy Virgin one or Sky one, it doesn't really matter. The router that you've got provided by your internet provider, and then you can plug in stuff internally that you want on your VPN network, or you can connect to it on your phone or laptop over Wi-Fi. So I hope that has made some sort of sense. If not, please give me a shout. It is easier than the acronyms and the words like gigabits per second, VPN and IP, subnet, and stuff like that. It's basically a lot easier than it sounds. And if you need anything, give me a shout. Go to coolsmartphone.com and subscribe.